Okay, so right now I'm cutting the tracing paper down that I'm going to need for my image. And my image is 5x7, so you're going to make an image that's larger than that. So I am going to, I've already cut out a lot of it, so I'm just going to finish up here. I've got a cutting mat, and I'm using my X-Acto knife and my ruler to cut this. If you have a piece of cardboard, like the back of your drawing pad, for example, can substitute for the cutting mat, but it's always good to have a cutting mat. It just makes a nice clean cut. So yeah, we've got the tracing paper cut down to size now, and we are going to trace our image. So here I've got my image, and I am going to put the tracing paper right on top, line it up, and I want to tape that down. And normally I'd be using artist tape, but we apparently don't have it here today. I don't know what people are using my artist tape for. Actually, I think I left it at school. So I'm going to tape down the top and bottom, or top corners of the tracing paper so that I can lift it up to make sure I'm getting all my lines traced. And then I'm going to use an HB pencil, and I am going to start to trace the actual face. Now, the thing that's important here is that you get every little change of direction as you're tracing. And if you have a hard time seeing it, then you might want to tape it up to your window. So all the shadows, even incidental shadows, or things that aren't really overall very, very dark, you're going to still need to have some kind of indication where that is. So notice I'm getting every little change in, say, the eyebrow, right? That's what I'm doing now. Every change of direction. And then the middle value, the lid. Pupil, the white of the eye. What I find, and this is one of those things that as you start teaching, it's one of those things you didn't think you'd have to teach people, teaching people how to trace. But I find that students want to go really fast on this and really simplify what's going on. And you can't do that. You have to get all the detail. Because you'll see in the transfer process, you lose detail anyway. So if you start off with less detail, you'll end up with something that really is so stylized, you're not going to be able to use it. I'm going to trace everything on the figure. If you've got, I could trace the background too if I wanted to include this background. I don't. But if your background's like an interior, a wall or something, there's no reason why not. You could trace the background as well. So I have this already done, but I'm just going to do a little bit of this to show you what it should look like. So you can maybe see, let me slip this piece of white paper under here. There, you can see now what the eye, start of the nose is looking like here. This is the ear, right? So a lot of detail on that. Okay, so that's what's going to happen with the tracing. Then we're going to take the tracing and put it on top of our gessoed board, 4 coats of gesso. Okay, so we've got our panel all ready to go. If you feel like you need to, you can run some sandpaper over this and smooth it out a little bit. But mine feels pretty smooth, so I don't feel like I need that. I'm taking my tracing that I made, and I am putting on the back of it new pastel. So this is something that you don't need to have the whole assortment. You just need to have this one color, which you can see I've used a lot of, and that is the it is a burnt, sort of a burnt sienna. And that goes over the back. So you're turning this upside down and then putting it over the back. And then probably taking a paper towel and rubbing it so that it gets smoothed in there. Just to make sure that we're filling everything in. And then we take this and we tape it to our panel. And so I'm just using regular Scotch tape. So making a tape hinge at the top, and then I'm going to put one piece of tape at the bottom because I want to be able to lift this up. It's a little bit off center. And then I'm going to trace over the lines again that I traced already. So I'm using a red pen so that I'll be able to see that I traced over those lines. You could use anything. You can use a pencil. You can use a black ballpoint pen. It's just the question is that you need to be able to see that you've gone over all the lines. And because we taped it with the two pieces of tape and just the one at the bottom, I'll be able to check and lift it up if I have to make sure that I get everything on here. Transfer paper also works. I like this because of the color. That is with the chalk line, not with the pen line. That doesn't matter. I got everything. Okay, so I think I got everything now, but I'm going to check. So I'm taking the tape off the bottom and I'm going to lift it up and see to make sure I got everything on here. And one side of his hair I didn't get, and one side of his face I didn't get, so you can see that, and his shoulder. So I need to go back and get those. Side of his hair, shoulder. All right, and so we've got everything traced now, and we are going to check and make sure we've got everything, and we do. So we can take this off, and you can see the red chalk lines on here. Then we're going to take the workable fixative, and we are going to spray on the panel so that this gets fixed. I'm not going to do it in here because I'm in the house and I live with people that would object. Same thing for you. So you don't want to do it inside. If you've got an old can of this, or even if you don't, even if it's a new can, you want to make sure that you don't start right away spraying right on your panel. You want to spray off to the side and make sure you're cleaning the valve out so it doesn't spit onto here, because that'll leave spots. You want to have a nice even coat. And then we're going to be ready to paint. Okay, that's that.